We are ready to talk about directions for review and preview 4.2.1. In question 47, it gives you some specific directions on what to do following those 4 bullet points. On your answer sheet, I already have a 5x5 square for you and a larger 15x15 square for you as well. So your job would be to make some sort of design inside the smaller 5x5 that then you can enlarge into the 15x15. I'm going to ask that you keep in mind the level of difficulty. It needs to be something that's difficult enough for me to see how well you understand the concept of making it larger. It also shouldn't be so detailed that you spend more time than really is necessary on this particular question. Another thing you gotta remember is that on your 5x5, if it takes up 1 square, on your 15x15, it will now take up 9. So keep that in mind. I always have folks that make some mistakes there. 1 square on your 5x5 is going to turn into 9 squares on your 15x15. Also, don't forget about the last part down at the bottom, which asks you how much wider and how much longer is your new picture. If you think about a 5x5 compared to a 15x15, that's really all you need to focus on, and telling me how many times bigger our new figure is compared to your original. For question 48, they show us this diagram of a frame, and the 4 inches and the 7 inches that are labeled, I need you to understand, are giving us the inside measurements. Now, if each square tile is 1 inch, this part right here is 7. I can tell, looks like there should be 9 across the top. And if this much is 4, that would mean there would actually be 6 along the side. Whatever your strategy here is for part A, where they're asking you how many tiles are on the frame, just remember, like we talked about from our lesson, don't accidentally count the 4 corners twice. So keep that in mind when you're determining part A, how many tiles are there on the frame. Part B asks you to consider how many tiles would fit inside the frame. Earlier I told you this was a 4x7 space. Knowing that information right there should easily help you figure out how many tiles could fit inside the frame. Now, part B is asking you, would there be more tiles that are on the frame? So that would be your answer to part A. Or would there be more tiles that fit inside the frame? I need you to be able to tell me where there will be more and how you know. Make sure you explain how you've made that decision. For question 49, we've got 4 friends working together to wash some cars. They earn a total of $43 that has to be divided evenly among the 4 friends. This division problem has to terminate. It's not going to be a repeating decimal. So I am going to have to make sure I put 43.00, since it's money, divide that by 4 to figure out how much each person will earn. For question 50, there's a generic rectangle that's already copied on your answer sheet for you. And if we look at this generic rectangle, we can see some dimensions that are missing, and we can see some areas that are missing. So, like we've done in the past, your job would be to figure out what those missing values are, fill those in, and then it's asking you what multiplication problem does it represent. So what's the total dimension across the top? What's the total dimension along the side? That gives us our multiplication question. And then when on your answer sheet where it says it equals, that's where I'm going to write blank plus 800 plus blank plus 500 plus blank plus 30. Add those all together and then make sure you say your final answer in that part at the end. For question 51, it says use a portions web to rewrite each percent as a fraction, as a decimal, and with words or a picture. So for A, B, C, and D, all 4, you're going to have to make your own portions web. Since all of these start us off with a percent, that's what you can start with over here in the lower right-hand corner. Think about what that percent is, maybe move the decimal point 2 places to the left, to make it a decimal that we can put over here on the lower left-hand corner. Think about, how do I say that decimal appropriately? Maybe it's this many tenths, or this many hundredths, or this many thousandths. That's going to be what I put as my fraction up here at the top. Simplified if you'd like. And then, like we've talked about, don't forget that part in the middle. Show me the words or a picture of the portion. All four of those, A, B, C, and D, those are the directions that you will follow.